Good morning, everybody. Hope your weekend shapes up and gives you a really nice Easter vacation. Markets will trade normal hours today, but my guess is afternoon today. Those that can leave the office will be leaving the office. So pre-holiday trading, the action tends to be over pretty early in the session, and then it decreases into the close. So after lunch, things can get quiet. Now, biggest event today, biggest dynamic driving our markets domestically will be option expiration in the index futures. And the mathematical close today for the E-mini is 1850. So there should be pretty good selling against 60. There should be pretty good buying against 40. Based on yesterday's activity with a close at 50. And that, we're just going to start today thinking that way. We're kind of going to try to zero in on it. If the E-mini holds its gains and or rallies on a short squeeze, then financials should be pressured. We left yesterday's market wanting to sell failure to take out 14 to 16, then at 19 to 23, the high was 17.5, so you had lots and lots and lots of opportunities to sell 16 to 17, and right now we're trading at 12. So the information you left with yesterday would have made you a little loot. The buy was in the 5 to 9 area. We were playing for stops below yesterday's lows, and that still could be a possibility. Bottom of value yesterday was in the 11 area, so right now we are at support, so let's play for maybe stops beneath yesterday's lows with an E-mini that's going to hold the 1850-55 area to get started, and then we can adjust it upward. Again, we're going to be in the same situation like we were yesterday. We're buying 5s to 9s or 9s to 13s. So this 9 number down here really kind of sticks out at me. And it would allow them to get in. So we'll start out 5 to 9, but we may have to raise it to 13, and then 29 to 1. I don't see any way to get down to the 29 to 01 unless there's a hell of a short squeeze that starts early in the E-mini. And those squeezes tend to start in the last hour of trading of the E-mini. On the sell side, again, we'll be just like we were basically at the close of yesterday's business, trying to sell failure to take out 16 to 20, then 23 to 27. So that's it for the note. Okay, internationally, the news today, the news overnight was pretty limited, not a lot going on. 3 Russian sympathizers, Ukrainian Russian sympathizers, were killed overnight as they tried to take a National Guard base in the Ukraine. The U.S., Russia, the Ukraine, and EU meet in Europe over the weekend, try to resolve their differences. So keep talking, get your tanks as deep as, make as much as you can get, gain as much as you can, and then try to cut a deal is where I think they are. Russia really is in a tough spot. I mean, if you were Russia and it takes 10 soldiers to maintain law and order in a country that is resisting you via guerrilla warfare, Russia really isn't in a very, very strong position to go in and take over the Ukraine. But Russia's problem is that their lifeblood flows in those natural gas pipelines that go through the Ukraine. And when these things start, you never know when they're going to stop. So it'd be interesting to see how it works out. My guess is Russia's probably cut the best deal they could already cut. And anything that they do more than what they've done right now, the easy, quick gains are behind them. The costs go up probably exponentially for Russia to do more than they've done already. So right here, the knob spread is holding in at 1016. And there's a reason for that, and it's financial and political unrest around the globe, flight to quality treasuries. We're also, if you take a look at this chart right here, we're pretty close to breaking it out to the upside for the last 180 days. So we're right at one of those points where if interest rates start to move lower right now, deflation, which is the battle the Fed has been trying to fight, and it's very, very successfully in food and energy since 2008, in economic contraction, are more likely than not. And yesterday, you can remember the chatter into Yellen's speech was that she had to get even more dovish than she has been because of the weakening, deteriorating economy. IBM missed the top and bottom line. Google missed the top and bottom line, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. IBM's revenues are down, I think what they said, right at 4% from last year because of the lack of sales in the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And so this does not, this refutes or counters the projections by the IMF, the World Bank, the UN, and every central bank around the globe that we're going to grow 3.5% next year. So on this contract, we're at 27 right now, so 31 to 03 will be sell 1. And 7 to 11, pretty much where it was yesterday. We had it at 28 to 30. On the buy side, because of the strength, let's play for a little lower, try 17s to 21s, but we may have to pay 25s to get in. Again, a lot of it depends on what goes on in the E-mini. The 9 to 13. So it's quiet market today. I don't think we'll have a lot of volatility, famous last words, because you never know when you get into this. And we'll see if we can buy it a little cheaper today, but I'd like to buy into breaks just because of the political instability around the world. Gold was off a little bit from yesterday, and got down into our buy area, and it's strengthened into its day session opening right now. Interesting article in Zero Hedge about political instability and when it would start with public demonstrations against current leadership around the globe. And the United States was included in that starting in the year 2015, but the gist of the article was that public demonstrations against national power has already started in the United States a year ahead of schedule. And the reason for that is this heavy-handed, in-your-face breaking of the law, blatant breaking of the law, and with the attitude of, yeah, we're doing it, we're going to do it again tomorrow, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think everybody's pretty, I mean, the rule of law has been thrown aside if you're politically connected, if you're of the right party. If you send enough money to Washington, D.C., you can escape a lot of the conditions that most of us have to live and put up with. And that isn't what it was about. Couple that with slow economic growth, price of energy, price of food, lack of jobs. When you take hope away from people, then things start to get out of hand. And so the important thing is hope. And hope isn't subsistence welfare payments. Hope is a better future. And right now, even though our government officials stand up and say, good day. Actually, they stand up and say, good days are here right now. Aren't you happy? Things could get out of hand in a hurry. And you see that in our big cities with these flash mobs rioting, people being attacked in areas where they don't expect to be attacked. And there's no better example of that than the city of Chicago, where these thugs have the audacity to go up on Michigan Avenue and North Shore, and first warm weekend in Chicago and the murder rate jumps again. So my point is not to pick out Chicago, but there's a lot of unrest communities. Okay, on the euro, we've got this low volume area in the 30 area, and you can see right here that 35 held. So this 25 to 35 is pretty good support. Followed by 138 plus or minus 5. On the sell side, last night we had 25 to 35, then 45 to 55, and we've gotten through that. So 65 to 75, a little higher where we are right now. And then 90 to the buck again. And Draghi once again finds himself in a tough spot. The more they talk about how the euro has to come down, the more it goes up. The audacity of those damn traders out there. And most of those traders that are pushing it work for large banks who control the currency markets. Japan was closed overnight, no feedback from their markets. And let's see where crude is. Crude hasn't backed off, but it just kind of maintaining moving sideways, and that's kind of where we are. And that's probably because of the talks in, I think it's Geneva, between the EU, the United States, Russia, and the Ukraine. Well, I'm glad it was helpful, Jeff, and I know you rang the bell last night, so well done. Well, that's my point, Fitzroy. If there's no hope, what is the point of living? And so this administration through the Fed in the United States, and I don't know what it's like in England, has kept the stock market up because they can buy it, basically. And they say, you know, good times are just around the corner. Look at the stock market. And but you know, we're into the 5th year of this deal, and I think the other scary thing that came out yesterday, there's 86 million taxpayers out there, and there's 148 million people in the United States that get some form of government support. Now, I'm in one of those situations. I'm on Social Security right now. But I pay 15.3% off the top because I own my own business every damn year for the privilege of getting that check in. My returns on my investment in Social Security are sure. If I'd had that 15% to put elsewhere for Medicare and something, I'd be a pretty happy camper. And when it comes to income tax time, that 15.3 is off the top. Then I get the pleasure of paying taxes. And it's pretty easy to pay over 50% in the United States now. Okay, taking a look at crude. We left crude yesterday wanting to sell 104, 104.25, and we had the buy lower at 103.25 to 50. So that's where we are again. I really would like to buy against 103. I see a 104 plus 103, but that's where buy number 1 is. That's where support is. Cheap Charlie, you know that game. And we'll leave the sell where it was. The top of value is 15. We're at 80, so let's make 104, 104.25. Because of Geneva, don't look for a big day here. The Geneva talks. Now imagine what we're going to go in with. The United States will go over there saying there will be consequences. They won't tell them what it is. And if you're from Russia, I think our exports to Russia are less than $10 billion a year. So what does he need from us? Europe sure as hell isn't going to cut off their nose and upset the supply of natural gas to the country. Now they can absorb a month or so because of above ground storage, but they can't really absorb more than that. And if 30% of your energy comes from Russia, you're not going to be raising too much hell. Yeah, in fact, you're going to be pleading with them, hey, slow down a little bit. Let's talk this over. You can't be doing this. Russia goes, oh, yeah? Not only we can't, we've done it. Russia's long-term deal with China and India. China and India will not put themselves in the same situation that Europe has, being totally dependent upon them. China will continue to develop coal, nuclear, natural gas, other sources outside of Russia. Russia can't turn around and instantly turn on the switch to send China gas, but Russia's going to diversify their markets too. So here we are at 1852. Okay, calls 55 and 60 was the action yesterday. Then it really jumps up to 1900. On the put side, 40 and 30 was the play yesterday. The most open interest for both puts and calls is at 50. So my guess is we close this market at 50, and we've got a seller 55 to 60. And we've got a buyer 40 to 45. So we'll play that day. We'll put buy 1 at 45, 47, buy 2 at 40, 42. Sell 1 at 55, 57. It is resistance. And then sell 2 at 59 to 61. And we're going to plan for a close at 1850. Now we will adjust that as the day goes on, but that's where the market maker makes the most money. If they are able to trade in their self-interest, they will. They will start out defending it, and then it depends on is there a squeeze. And when you look at where the calls are up at 19, and a lot of puts were down at 1800, the market's kind of neutral. So I'm guessing that there won't be a squeeze, that we close it at 1850. That's all I've got right now, folks. It will take at least 20 minutes for me to get the stuff up and out. I'm going to get busy on it right now. Good trading. We do have some news today. We've got jobless claims at 3:15 on the half hour, followed by Philly Fed at 10, and then natural gas inventory is expected to build 35 billion. The focus will be jobless claims, and then it'll move to Philly Fed. Then it goes to option expirations on the E-mini. Back with you as soon as I can get there. Later.